What's going on, football fans? Welcome in. We're going to get ready to get started. My name is Blue Enforcer, aka The Truth, and we are going to talk NFC West. I know the season has kicked off. Am I recorded this video prior to kickoff, so we're going to talk about the NFC West and who I think is going to win this division and what I think each team is going to do. So we're going to get ready to get started here in just a minute. In 30 seconds, we're going to talk NFC West. Football is back. Good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody What's going on, football fans? Welcome in to a new edition of the Truth League Report. I'm your man, Blue Enforcer, aka The Truth. And if you're new to this channel, I definitely thank you for tuning in as we are getting ready to talk NFC West. So if you're a Rams fan, if you are a Cardinals fan, 49ers, Seahawks, this is the show for you. We're going to talk about the division and who's going to win. I did record this prior to the start of the football season. And so, I'm just going to tell y'all who I think is going to win the division, what I think these teams will do. And we're going to definitely go ahead and get started. And before we do, go ahead and share that show. You could join any of the pages. Is also in the ticker. You could join the TNT Enforcers fan page. Also, you could join Instagram at Titans_N_truth, as well as Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer to get all your content. And so I definitely want to shout out everybody that's tuning in and everything. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Also, shout out to Man Hour Radio for having me on the network. So I definitely do appreciate that as well. But we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So for my NFC West fans, this is definitely for you. And we're going to talk about each and every team in the West and who I think is going to end up winning the division. And so and before we do get going, definitely make sure that you do share this show out. Definitely share this show out. You can definitely share it again on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Make sure you hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button as well, and ring the bell so that you get all the notifications, because we're going to be talking about content for all NFL teams all year long. Definitely talking about some recaps, what happened during the year, and some things like that, especially when some news comes out. So definitely stay tuned for that. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And if you want some Tennessee Titan, some Titans of Truth gear like I have, even though it is in Titan colors, but it can be done where it's in the colors of your team, definitely hit me up at CA Newell. That's CANEWELL 817 at gmail.com. Also, you can help my friend Miss Latoya Akinyemi at Queen Butterfly Tees on Instagram, or queenbutterflytees at gmail.com if you're wanting a shirt. Or you can hit my guy at Out the Crib Customs. That's at out_the_crib_customs if you want a hat like the hat that you see in the graphic or the hat that you see me wearing here. Again, he can get it in your team's colors. So right now, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks, of course, finished 7-10 last year with Russell Wilson. And we definitely saw a rise with DK Metcalf, who had nearly 1,000 yards receiving and 12 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett, of course, nearly 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. And then Quandre Diggs, who is definitely a nice safety along with Jamal Adams, 94 tackles, 5 interceptions. And so one of the big losses for the Seattle Seahawks team was definitely Russell Wilson getting traded to the Denver Broncos, and then also Bobby Wagner going to the LA Rams, and Dwayne Brown, the tackle, going to the Jets. But they did go ahead and trade back for Drew Lock and Shelby Harris. Drew Lock, of course, trying to compete to be the starting quarterback, but it looks like it's going to be Geno Smith. But they also add Uchenna Uwasu to help on that defense as well. So, it's definitely a rebuilding time for the Hawks nest, so to speak. In the draft, they did draft kind of early. They went ahead and got Charles Cross, a tackle out of Mississippi State, who's going to be their starting left tackle. Also, they got Boy Mafi from Minnesota, a linebacker. They got Ken Walker III, I believe he was the Doak Walker winner from Michigan State. They got another tackle, Abraham Lucas from Washington State. And so definitely, and they got Bo Melton, also the wide receiver from Rutgers, in the 7th round. So I think that's a very sneaky, nice pickup right there. And, with Geno Smith at quarterback, Chris Carson retiring, Carlos Dunlap also, has moved on as well. The Seahawks look like they are fighting an uphill battle as far as we are concerned. So this is going to be a very, very tough year for Pete Carroll and company, even though you do have Lockett and you do have DK Metcalf, a nice receiver at D. Estrich, Noah Fant at tight end. You have some weapons, and you have a good left tackle and everything, but and even though the secondary could be okay, you got a nice pair of safeties. But again, for me, it always comes down to the quarterback. It always comes down to the quarterback of the team. And I just don't know what Geno Smith is going to be able to do as the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. So it could be where Drew Lock gets his chance, or they could be looking at a quarterback next season with that. So I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett can't do anything if they don't have somebody who can get them the ball. So that's going to be key. And unfortunately for Seahawks fans, they're not going to like me very much. I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all have one of the best stadiums around in Lumen Field, but I believe y'all are going 3-14 this year. And the only wins I have y'all beating Detroit in Detroit, getting a victory over the Giants at home. And I think y'all may have a chance at upsetting the San Francisco 49ers. But other than that, I don't really see a lot of wins for the Seattle Seahawks, especially without them having a real serious quarterback going. But I mean, I know Pete Carroll is a good coach. And I mean, they do have some decent players defensively. But again, the offense is what I'm worried about, even though they have a nice receiving core as well. So that's going to be, the key to all of this, again, is the quarterback. So I have the Seahawks going 3-14. Next up, I'm going to the Bay Area. We're going to go a little further south and head to San Francisco with the 49ers, who finished 10-7 on the year. And one of the big impacts was definitely the fact that there was a carousel. Even though you had Jimmy G, you also had people calling for Trey Lance, to go. And now Trey Lance is going to be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers going forward. And he comes back. He threw for 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, also, what will help Trey Lance is the dominance of Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel comes in. He had 77 catches, 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, ran for 365 yards, 5 touchdowns. You can basically line them up anywhere on the field. George Kittle's still one of the best tight ends in the league, had over 900 yards, 6 touchdowns. And then you got Nick Bosa with 15 and a half sacks on the year. So that was something that, helped on the defensive line. That was actually a pretty nice defensive line for the 49ers last year. They do add Charvarius Ward at tight end, 3 years, $40.5 million. They also add a tight end, Tyler Croft, and safety George Odom, but they do lose guard Laken Tomlinson to the Jets. Running back Raheem Mostert goes to Miami. So that's kind of a hard thing to replace, especially with running back, but I know they have Elijah Mitchell coming back, who is their leading running back. And then, of course, Deebo Samuel can help you there too. In the draft, what the 49ers did, they didn't have a first-round pick, but they did get Drake Jackson, a linebacker out of USC, and also a running back out of LSU, Tyrion Davis-Price at tight end. They got a tackle, Spencer Buford from Texas San Antonio. And so and then they got a quarterback in Brock Purdy from from Iowa State. So I definitely, the 49ers could possibly be rebuilding around Trey Lance and Deebo Samuel. We're definitely going to see how they're going to look with the team that they have under Kyle Shanahan. And so, a lot of people, really think that the 49ers can compete in this NFC West. And it's a tough division, a very tough division. And I have the 49ers going 8-9. I have them going 8-9 on the year. I was trying to see where they could possibly, get back to 10 wins and compete. But, with Trey Lance, I know this is his first year under the helm. I know there's some things to really like with Trey Lance, but I think he's going to make some rookie mistakes in his first full year as a starter. But I do think they start off nice and hot. They start off 3-0 with victories at Chicago versus Seattle and at Denver. And then they lose to the Rams at home. And then they go ahead and beat Carolina, lose to Atlanta, beat Kansas City, which I think is an upset. And then after the bye week, I think that's where things start to kind of fall down for them, is after they upset the Chargers in LA, after they upset the Chargers, I think this is where the downward spiral begins. And they end up losing 6 of their last 8 games, and they end up falling to 8-9. I mean, again, 49ers is kind of my second team because I am, my dad, my late father, Donald Newell, rest in peace to my pops, was a huge 49ers fan. And, he always talked bad to me about the 49ers and everything, but that was when Jerry Rice and Steve Young were leading the charge. But now you got, Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance. Again, I could see where they get to 10-7 again. I could see where they are 8-9 or 9-8. But in this NFC West, it's going to be very, very tough. And I do think they split with Arizona. I do think they sweep. I think they split with Seattle. But I also think they split they get swept by the LA Rams. I just think the Rams are that good of a football team. And so now we'll go even further south to the desert, to Arizona with the Cardinals. 11-6 last year, made the playoffs, lost to the Rams in the wild card round. And one thing about the Cardinals is they're very good at starting off hot, and then they cool off later in the year. Now, they did trade for Marquise Hollywood Brown from Baltimore to go along with Kyler Murray, who just signed a massive new deal as well. And so, almost 3,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. You got DeAndre Hopkins coming back, but he's going to be out the first 6 games of the year due to the substance abuse policy from the NFL. So he's going to be out the first 6 games of the year. And then I like Budda Baker, the safety, definitely one of the better safeties in the league. But they did lose Chandler Jones to the Raiders. Christian Kirk goes to Jacksonville on the big deal that pretty much messed up the entire wide receiver market. Chase Edmonds goes to Miami, and then Jordan Phillips goes to Buffalo. But in the draft, they picked up a guy I really liked in round 2 in Trey McBride. Really like him as a tight end. I think he's going to be very, very good. They also got a good pass rusher in Myjai Sanders from Cincinnati, who I think could be definitely a nice pickup. And Marquise Hayes, guard from Oklahoma, who a lot of people probably thought would go a little bit earlier, but ends up going in the 7th round, which is very, very interesting on that. So, Arizona, they got players. They like to play fast. You got guys like Rondell Moore, who I really liked as well, coming out of Purdue. And, again, they got to go without DeAndre Hopkins for at least the first 6 games. Zach Ertz is there as well. They got 3 very nice tight ends. And then the key is the offensive line. You got Rodney Hudson, Kelvin Beachum up front, AJ Green, the ageless wonder, still there. And they got James Conner, of course, a nice running back from formerly of Pittsburgh. And anytime you have a defense with J.J. Watt on the other side, you might still be in a good position. And Marcus Golden, I think, has always been pretty consistent. Isaiah Simmons had a nice year last year as well. So, they got some nice pieces, especially on defense, that could definitely help their offense out tremendously with Hopkins being out. So, Kyler Murray's going to have to earn it now. He's got the big contract. Prove that he, is deserving of that money. And so what I have the Cardinals doing, I got them going 11-6. I think they can win despite not having DeAndre Hopkins, and I think they can play very well. I think they can beat Kansas City early on, and then I think they, start off hot as they've always done with victories against the Rams and Carolina, also Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota, and Seattle, although they do lose to Philly and the Raiders. So I think I have them starting off the first 9 weeks at 7-2. But then after some other wins, after they get 10 wins on the year, even though they lose to LA and they win 3 in a row, they lose 3 of their last 4. But they're still in great position, and they finish 11-6, just enough to finish second and make the playoffs as well. But I don't have them winning the division. And so, again, I think they do falter. I think they do falter a little bit towards the end, because they do tend to end cold, but I don't think it's going to be the collapse that we've seen the last couple of years out of Arizona. So, again, 11-6, I have Arizona winning, and that's good enough for second place. But I have the top team in the NFC West going still in the Bay to the LA Rams, who are about to be, who are going to be in action tonight. Of course, they are the defending Super Bowl champions, 12-5. Matt Stafford coming back after throwing for nearly 5,000 yards and 41 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp having a historic season, almost 150 receptions, nearly 2,000 yards receiving. and 16 touchdowns, 12 and a half sacks from Aaron Donald, who is definitely the best defensive lineman in the league. And they bring in Allen Robinson, 3 years, $46.5 million. And they also bring in Bobby Wagner to help on defense at 5 years, $50 million. But Von Miller is gone. Went and signed a big 6-year deal in Buffalo. And then Austin Corbett goes to Carolina to play guard. Darius Williams signs a big deal to go to Jacksonville. In that situation as well. But the Rams, you know them. They're not going to have high draft picks because they don't mind trading high draft picks to go get big-time players. So, obviously, they gave Matt Stafford some money to help with the salary cap because Stan Kroenke is just rolling in the dough like that, and that's just what he does. And so they did end up picking until the third round. They end up picking up some offensive guys that they picked up an offensive lineman in round 3. They definitely picked up a running back, Kyren Williams from Notre Dame. They definitely picked up a corner late in the 4th round. A couple of corners, actually, and then a safety as well. So the Rams have some unknowns on in their rookie class, and we'll see if some of those guys end up helping to produce with that big starting cast out there in LA. Of course, Robert Woods, I forgot to mention him. He, of course, got traded to the Tennessee Titans. So he is not there anymore either. He was a good possession receiver and a guy that could play second fiddle to Cooper Kupp. But, of course, you got coming back Cam Akers, my guy Darrell Henderson from the University of Memphis as well. So I definitely like the offense for the Rams. The defense is still going to be as good as Aaron Donald is with Leonard Floyd. They bring in Bobby Wagner. So, and then, of course, they have that sticky Jalen Ramsey out there as well. But where do I have the Rams finishing? Of course, I have them winning the division. I have them at 13-4. I think this team has a chance to get back to the Super Bowl again. And I just think that with Matt Stafford, with Cooper Kupp, and you have the best defensive player in the league in Aaron Donald, I think they can do a lot of damage. Now, they may struggle a little bit against Buffalo tonight because Buffalo is very good as well. But I think the Rams get this victory tonight. But I do think they fall to Arizona in Arizona. I think they fall at Tampa Bay. I think they get upset by the Raiders. And then the Chargers, I think, could kind of spoil them a little bit too. So that's where the 4 losses I have coming in on that. I can't wait to see that game against Kansas City. It could be a shootout. That would be really fun to see as well. And that Raiders game is going to be very interesting also. But I do have the Rams going 13-4. I think they win the division. I think they have a chance to get back to the Super Bowl, and they could be a serious problem for a lot of teams going forward. So, Truth League Report here. Make sure y'all smash that like button also, and make sure you subscribe to the channel because, again, I'm going to be coming out with content representing all 32 teams, not just the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to be doing some recaps of the games that happened on Sunday, previewing the game on Monday. Also, I'm going to be doing some picks on Fridays, so definitely stay tuned for that as well. And also, remember, wherever you get your podcast, whether it be on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, that's also where these episodes are going to be displayed as well. So definitely check that out also. And come on in and definitely join the Titans and Truth community, the Man House, the Man Hour community as well. But I think that's just about going to do it for me. Again, I have the Rams at 13-4. I have the Cardinals at 11-6. I have the 49ers at 8-9. And then I have the Seattle Seahawks at 3-14, bringing up the rear. But let me know what y'all think. Rams fans, 49ers fans, Seahawks fans, Cardinal fans. Let me know what y'all think. Was I right on these predictions? Was I completely wrong? Hey, it's all right, but that's what we're here for. We're here to interact. We're here to talk. We're here to chat together. So let me know what y'all think. Some more content will be coming out tomorrow. I'm going to preview the AFC West before the season gets started for all those other teams. And also we'll be doing some picks tomorrow as well. So I will be checking y'all. I will be seeing y'all on the Truth League Report coming up real soon. Thank y'all for tuning into the show, and y'all have a very good rest of your